been a long time. I shouldn't have left you. But either way, let's get to it. This is Mike Ryder Talks. I'm your man behind the microphone. They also call me Mr. Accountability. I'm back with the first special edition of Mike Ryder Talks after a long break. A break that I took for a lot of reasons, but I was gone for too long. I miss this. I miss y'all. I miss doing this on a weekly basis. We about to get to it though. I got a special guest in the house with me tonight. And as y'all see, it's October. And one of the things that October is known for is National Bullying Prevention Month. So this month I got a young lady who is a model. She's also a brand ambassador. She also has an athletic background, played basketball. I see she got no hops. I got someone who has endured a certain level of bullying, not only from her peers, but from the administration as well. And you know what? Without further ado, I'm going to welcome my guest, my special, amazing guest, Miss Jasmine Orsted. If you would, mute your mic, cut your camera on. Let's get to it.
Thank you for that intro. That was
I had
amazing.
to do it. What's going on with you? How you doing this evening?
I am amazing, fabulous. How are you?
Man, I'm blessed. Good to be back.
Hey, that's the best way to be.
Right,
Good
right.
to hear.
And I'm glad to kick it off with you. So let's get to it, man.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh yeah. I got you on the platform. There are some people who may not know who you are. If you would, give a brief introduction of who you are.
Alrighty, well, my name is Jasmine Orsted. Obviously, like, you guys are going to hear my story, but I would say there was nothing really special about me. I was just a girl that, loved basketball, wanted to keep pursuing my dreams. And then a big bullying, racism issue came into my life, and I had the choice to either fight or flight, and I chose to fight. And I feel like God now uses me to, talk about bullying and try to be a bullying advocate.
You know what? I left that out your intro, but I'm glad you said that at the end just then. She is definitely an advocate for bullying, anti-bullying, bringing the awareness to the people. So let's go ahead and get into your story. Let's go ahead and tell the people what happened to you. How were you bullied?
Alrighty, well, to start from the beginning, when I graduated high school, I was going to go to LSU for track, but they found out I had an injury. So, can't pay full price for damaged goods. It's fine. That's how college sports work. So I decided to go to a junior college near my parents' house so I could stay home. They could come to all my games. And I went there and I played ball, and I set about 11 school records, and I was MVP of the team, and I was on the dean's list and the president's list academically. So I knew that I wanted to go overseas and play. And I didn't want to go Division I or Division II. I wanted to go D3 because I knew I could be All-American D3 and, talk to overseas coach. And I have that on my resume. I figured that would look pretty good. So I started researching different colleges near my house that were Division III. And I ended up finding Mary Washington. And so I went through the stats of the team. I compared all of my statistics to the girls coming back, and I saw there were girls coming back that only scored 2 points the entire season. And I was averaging 13 points a game and 9 rebounds. So I'm like, I can be a big fish in a little pond here, and I can do well. And again, it was only like 35 minutes from my parents' house. So they get to come to all my games. So I was really excited, and I talked to the coach, and she said, all you have to do is get through 2 months of preseason, and then you can try out. And I was like, okay, great. Like, that ain't nothing but a formality to me. But from day one, Mary Washington is a primarily white institution. The girls started in with their comments, their jokes. So two of the white girls came in and they said, why do Black people name their kids the way they do? And the other white girl responded, well, I don't know. My high school wasn't in the ghetto, so I never had to deal with that. We only ever had one or two Black girls on my basketball team, and that's the way I like it. That's the way she said she liked it. And that was day one. So, I was like, where am I? Like, what is, but, I was like, okay, like that was just an oddity. It is what it is. But it wasn't. That was just the beginning of the downfall. There was so many other things that were said. Like we had to go around the room and tell secrets about ourselves. So when we were going around the circle, one of the white girls said that she did a missionary trip in Haiti, which is a beautiful thing. But another white girl said, oh, so did you get a picture with a skinny, hungry Black boy? And all the girls fell on the ground laughing, except for myself and another Black girl that was trying out for the team. And so this was in the beginning. And I thought there was one Black girl that was returning. I figured, you know them. They're more comfortable with you. You're going to tell them, like, this is inappropriate. But when it got to her, she said, hey, guys, if you trace my last name, it goes to my family's slave owners. And again, all the girls fell on the ground laughing except for myself and the other Black girl.
You mean to tell me she didn't stand up for you nor herself? She pretty much made a joke against the color of y'all skins, a joke against who you are as women.
Right.
And she just, I can't go for that. Go ahead.
The thing is, it was 16 of us trying out and only 14 could make it. So, 2 have to go. And me being a walk-on, I thought, initially I thought, if I just keep being so nice to you, because the comments got worse, I'm going to be able to change your heart. I was naive, I was 20. So I thought, if I just leave with love and kindness, like I can change you. And, the whole time my mom's like, Jazz, no, like if people have been raised, to be this way for 20, 30, 22 years of their lives, you being nice isn't going to change it. But I thought it would. Then it got to the point where I was like, I'm just going to work even harder on the court and they're going to see how much of an asset I'm going to be. And then again, my mom's like, okay, Jazz, but nobody's going to be like, Jasmine is so good. She deserves my spot instead of me. But again, I was young. I didn't know any better. So then I thought, well, let me just make it to tryouts. Because if I make it to tryouts, then I'm going to be your actual teammate and you're going to have to respect what I have to say more. But also the coach is going to be around. And if she knew that you guys were making these kind of comments, then, there'd be some, like, you would get in trouble for it. So that was just kind of like my game plan towards it. And so it was myself and another girl that didn't make her laugh at the jokes. But then the other 2 Black girls trying out were the ones that laughed at jokes and made Black jokes for them. And they were the ones that, ultimately were allowed to try out. But, continuing through preseason, there was a time that came that it was 2 of the white girls' birthdays. And they wanted us to pay for alcohol. And I don't drink. I didn't drink. I was 20. So again, this was in the beginning. I thought if I'm nice, I can change you. Instead of going to their party, I got like these huge birthday cards. I got all the girls to sign it. The coaches to sign it, the trainers, just showing like, I'm not going to your party and drinking with you, but I'm still trying to be your friend. So the other Black girl, that didn't go along or laugh at the jokes, she went and, she was 18, so way more impressionable. She thought that if she went to the party with them and drank with them, then they would accept her. She went and she drank. And the next Monday, the coach called her in and said, I'm not going to let you try out because the girls told me you were doing underage drinking. They didn't tell that they provided the alcohol for her to get drunk. They didn't tell that the other girls were doing underage drinking, just that she was. And so she wasn't allowed to try out. And that's what they would have done with me, but I didn't go. So then, I was just by myself and they made other comments like they wanted to know everybody's ethnicity. And I think conversations started to happen to where they thought that they could run me off, by keep talking about race or upsetting me because clearly I didn't like it, or they thought that I would go off on them. And then it would be like, oh, well, she's super. And because, as a Black person, as a Black man, as a Black woman navigating in America, anything we do is going to just get hyped up. So even if I would have,
hit the nail on the head.
it would have been, well, she's hyper aggressive and she's an angry Black woman. So again, in my head, I was thinking, I'm not even going to respond to them. I'm just, going to keep doing what I do. And then again, when the coach is going to be around, she's going to cut all of this out.
So I want to just say this real quick. Rhonda Pierce, good comment. She said, great you didn't go. But we're going to get further into the story. But I want to point out a couple things real quick that they like to do. And when I say they, I ain't talking about a race of people. I'm talking about anybody who is a bully. They try to play the numbers game. You say you're the only Black person. Well, you're the one of two.
They didn't go along. It was 4 of us trying out, but the other 2, were cool with being the blunt of the jokes or making Black jokes for the white girls to laugh at. But myself and the other girl, we were like, no, like that's not funny.
So it's only 2 of y'all who are standing up for yourselves. So it's only 2 of y'all who are truly being different. Right. 2 people who they can try to back into a corner, play the numbers games on. Also, we're going to play the race card. Like you said, Black woman. If she gets loud, she gets angry. If we can make her angry, make her make a scene, we can play the victim. We can do the obvious. Black woman angry. Anger issues, Black woman. We can flip this on you, but you kept your cool. And I applaud you for that.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you. But that was what it seemed to be to me, because it was, so when we had to go around the room and like everybody was asking like, oh, what are you the other girls were like German, Irish, whatever the case may be, and when they got to the other Black girl I mentioned, she said that one of her parents were Black and the other one was blurple, like so dark she's purple, and all the girls were on the ground laughing except for me. And when it got to me, they knew what my dad was. They saw my dad, he is very clearly white, and they saw my mom and she is very clearly Black. But again, like they just wanted to create a situation for me to get mad. So I said, my mom is African-American and my dad's Norwegian. And they said, so he's European. And I said, yeah. And he said, so he's white. And I said, yeah. So your white daddy had a kid with a Black woman and actually married her. And I said, yeah. Keep in mind, this is like 2014, 2015. Interracial relationships are not something unheard of, unicorn under a blue moon, whatever. And so I said, yeah. And so half of them fell on the ground laughing and the other half looked like they wanted to throw up. But this situation and the Haiti comment was the closest that I ever got to really wanting to go off, because it was just so insensitive and it was just so, degrading and everything else under the sun. But in my head, I was just thinking, I'm going to keep persevering, whatever they throw at me, and I'm going to get to tryouts. And tryouts was kind of like the finish line that I created in my head to, this is where things are going to change, because if the coach knew or the coach was around, it wouldn't be happening. But so I went through 2 months of preseason having to deal with all kinds of things. And then 2 weeks before tryouts, the coach called me in and said, I am not going to let you try out. And I'm like, huh? And she said, yeah, the girls, they don't want you to try out. And I'm confused. One, because I thought tryouts, were for the coach to decide who makes the team, not the other players. But Facts. Also, I didn't understand why. And so she was like, yeah, they don't. I told her, maybe they don't want me to try out because I'm not making nor laughing at Black jokes. And also, I'm not participating in underage drinking. And she told me good, bad, or otherwise, right, wrong, or otherwise, she still wasn't going to let me try out. And she was going to side with the girls. And she told me that she didn't believe what I was saying because she had a variety of girls over the years. This is a side note, but I ended up, sneaking back on campus later down the line and got into the school library and found the yearbooks. And I found over the course of 13 years, she only ever had 2 Black girls play for her. And she told me that was a variety. And if you're from the DMV area, like we are very, it's a melting pot. So to find a team that only had 2 Black girls is definitely concerning. But so, yeah. So then my parents and we met with the administration because we thought, maybe the girls said that I did something or said something. And, you know, I have proof. I have text messages about the underage drinking. I have text messages about, you know, insensitive stuff. So I have proof, you know, maybe they just need to hear me. And so when I talk to, it is, the DMV is very diverse. And I'm like Northern Virginia, Woodbridge, and University of Mary Washington is like Fredericksburg. So it's getting, you know, further down, but it's still collectively. Um, but so the school administration's athletic director said, you know, well, it's still her team and, you know, it's her decision at the end of the day. Even though I didn't get a tryout in Division III rules, states that even if I had never touched a basketball, seen a basketball, you're supposed to give me a tryout because Division III is built on sportsmanship and not talent. So they went against like the own Division III rules by not saying that I could have a tryout. So then we met with the EEOC at one point, and we were excited because when she emailed me, you know, I went and Googled her name and I saw she was a Black woman as well. So I was like, okay, you know, she's going to understand things and she's not, you know, going to try to say like it wasn't a big a deal. But when we met with her, another situation that occurred was two of the white girls came into the room one day and one said, oh, I feel so gross because I forgot to shave. And then another white girl said, well, don't feel bad because and, you know, pointed out the Black girls, they never shave. And so again, the one Black girl that would make the jokes, she's like, no, Black people shave, and she named some other girl. She never had to shave because she's so dark. And like all the girls on the ground laughing except for myself and the other girl. And so the EEOC lady, again, I said she was another Black woman. She told me that situation was meant as a compliment and that I took it out of context. And so really white women are jealous of Black women that we don't have to shave as much because we're so dark. And it wasn't meant, you know, it wasn't meant as a compliment. It was meant as a hygiene issue from that, you know, the context of that conversation. But that was what we were met with. So, you know, other things happened after, you know, we met with the school and I told them, you know, I'm not allowed to try out and I didn't do anything, but, you know, these girls were doing underage drinking and, you know, making racist comments and the school checked into it. The girls were mad, I guess, that, you know, I told my side of things and I had started practicing with the club team because in my head, I'm thinking, you know, this is all a big misunderstanding and I'm still going to be allowed to try out. And so I need to stay in shape. So two of the girls that were they were managers for the actual basketball team, played on the club team. And I didn't have any issues with them. But the third time I went to a practice, about 5-10 minutes in, all 14 of the basketball girls came in and they blocked the exits like they were going to jump me. And it was just like crazy because in my head, I'm like, you know, I didn't do anything to you guys. Like y'all are preventing me from doing something that I love, something I've been doing since forever just because I'm Black. But y'all are here right now, mad, stalking me over it. And you know, initially, I was definitely afraid because, you know, if it would have been one or two, would have been able to take them, but 14, I'm going to get rocked. So, I mean, you know, it is what it is. Like, I'll own it.
It is
what it is. So I was afraid. And then I was like, you know what? Well, if they came here to watch me, I'm going to give them a show. So then, like, I started breaking ankles, making threes, all that. And, and so then, I guess about 5 or 10 minutes before the end of the open gym, they were mad because I was doing good and they left. And so I was so into the moment, I didn't even notice it until I looked up and I'm like, dang, Jazz, that was dumb. Because now you don't know what exit they went out of, which one to avoid. And the gym is like in the middle of the building kind of, and it was late at night. So all the hallways were dark and everything. And I was like, well, you don't even know which way they went. But my phone had died. So I don't know if they didn't jump me because like maybe they thought my phone was still on or whatever the case may be. And, you know, everybody knew my mom or my dad came to pick me up. So they didn't jump me, but it was just situations like that to where it's like, I didn't do anything to you and y'all are stalking me. And my mom is definitely a mama bear. So that night, you know, after I got in the car and, you know, I just broke down crying because I'm like, I didn't do anything to these people. She called the school and she said, if they ever think about looking at a hair on her head, it's going to be epic what I do. So, they never
Shout out to
stopped me after
mom.
that. They
Shout out
never
to
stopped
mom.
me after that. But after that semester, I left. I was very depressed because, again, I always say this, like, I'm definitely far from perfect, but in that situation, I didn't break the law. I wasn't doing underage drinking, and, I wasn't making racist comments. And yet I am still the one that's not allowed to do something I love. So I was depressed. Like, I was in bed all the time, and my parents definitely noticed. And one day, my mom came in my room and I was crying, and she brought the Ben and Jerry's because I love Ben and Jerry's. And she was like, look, you can cry. Like, that's definitely your business if that's what you feel like you need to do. But at the end of the day, crying isn't going to change anything. Crying isn't going to get justice. Crying isn't going to get you back on the basketball court. So, if you want to cry, you can do that. But if you want to take other measures, then, just let me know. And she left. And, I just marinated on it. And that was definitely the catalyst for me starting to pursue it again. Because at that point, I had kind of lost my love for the game a little bit. And Chunky Monkey and the
Not cookies and cream.
no, Chunky Monkey has everything in there. Okay, it has like it's just deliciousness. And like when they have like the 2 for $7, please believe I get 4 and 6 because it is that serious. And the strawberry cheesecake, switching between
Really?
those two, it's amazing. It is beyond the cookie dough core. That's good too,
Okay.
though. But Chunky Monkey, that's my heart. um, but so I had played in a summer league, and I played in this summer league like every year. And the year before I went to Mary Washington, I had played, and some of the Mary Washington girls had played. And so I saw, even before going, like I saw face to face, even aside from the statistics, how what the
You ain't
level
gotta
of play
respond.
was, what the level of play was. So like the little miniature goal like I had put in my head was, okay, I'm going to train really hard and I'm going to play in the summer league. And when my team plays the Mary Washington team, I'm going to win. And like, that's going to be my day of, they're going to have to recognize me, even though like y'all, denied me from being able to play there. Like, you're going to have to look me in the face. You're going to have to shake my hand because I'm going to win. And so that got me like really hardcore training again. And when it got to the summer league, only 4 of the Mary Washington girls actually played in the summer league. But the day that they played my team, the entire team showed up. They brought their friends, they brought their family, all of them wanting to see me lose. And my team ended up winning by 20 points. And
Let's get it.
so with about a minute, 30 seconds left, all of the Mary Washington girls checked out of the game, and they all left the gym along with their friends and family because they didn't want to have to see me win. And it's like, again, I was so mad and I was so hurt, and like that made me want to cry again because I'm like, I didn't do anything to you, and this is all I wanted, for you to have to acknowledge it, and then you can't even give me that. You can't even be having sportsmanship about it. So after that, like I had got my fire back, and one of my friends that ended up telling me about an open gym for Bowie State University. And like I said, Mary Washington is a Division III school. Bowie is Division II, high level D2, HBCU, AA Bowie, if you know. I always have to do that because that's what we do. But
Do it again. Do it again.
AA Bowie, it's a whole thing. You like build up and like you hold up the Bowie part. It's go Bulldogs. That's all I'm gonna say. But
I ain't trying to take you there. I ain't trying to take you there.
But I was definitely intimidated because I'm thinking I didn't even get a tryout at a D3. Now I gotta try to get on a D2. But my parents, again, like they saw like the light come out of me after the whole situation. And my mom was like, I don't want these people, these girls, these bullies to take away the joy that basketball gives you. And when you're an athlete, when you've been doing something for, as like I said, maybe as 5, 6, 7 years old, a sport isn't just a sport to you, it's a part of you, it's something you love. And to have that yanked away just because your ethnicity is like, it's wild and it's demeaning and it's degrading. And like I said, like I was just kind of ready to walk away from it. But my parents told me, we didn't have money like that. We will pay for Bowie for 1 semester. And with this 1 semester, you got to get a scholarship. And if you don't get a scholarship, then you're gonna have to get a job. But we're giving you this, free pass to try to pursue basketball. And so I made the most out of it. You know, if you're familiar with DMV, the traffic is crazy. But from Woodbridge to Bowie State is about an hour 15 on a good day, and that can easily change to 2-3 hours if they shut down the bridge. You don't even want to think about it. But we would have practices at 6 in the morning, so that means be there at 5:45, which means I need to leave my house like 3-ish just to make sure. And then we have 3 practices a day: weight training, individual, as a team, conditioning. And then I would get out of class at 10 p.m. sometimes, and I'm getting home at 11:15 at the best. So, it was definitely hard, but at the end of it, I had a 4.0. I not only made the team, but I got in the starting lineup, and I got a basketball and a track scholarship. So with that, I definitely met with the challenge that my parents presented me. And, I loved Bowie. I loved my experience going from a PWI to where, I definitely stuck out, and I was bullied and everything, to go to a HBCU, and you're finally not a minority for once, and you're around a different kind of environment as a whole, was healing. It was therapeutic for me, for sure. But after that season, I ended up getting hurt. And so I couldn't go back. I lost my scholarship because I couldn't play. And, I know God has to do things for a reason. And I know that injury had to come because I was able to focus on my lawsuit. That's all I had after I got hurt. And that's when the lawsuit got really serious. So if I would have been having practices 3 times a day and having to study and everything else, I wouldn't have been able to give my all. So I know that's why it had to happen. But when it got to the lawsuit, given everything that I was able to go do at Bowie, it made them look really bad. Because again, I couldn't even get a tryout with y'all. And then I go to a harder level of play and I get a scholarship, I get a 4.0, I get all these things. It just made them look really bad. And so initially, and I just have to throw this in there because we were talking about the drinking. Like I said, the other Black girl who didn't go along or make Black jokes, she ended up going to drink with the girls, right? And none of those girls, got in trouble. The athletic director told my family, like, oh, we're like the ones we found that were drinking, we're definitely going to hold them like very accountable. It's serious. But then once we started the lawsuit and we were able to like get their emails, we found where the athletic director had wrote to the women's coach, yeah, we're saying that we're doing this, but it's no big deal. It's not going to follow them anywhere. It's staying in-house. So you're telling my family, like, yeah, we're holding them accountable, everything. But then in reality, you're having backdoor conversations saying it's no big deal. Like, pretty much it's just for show. But again, so when I tried to get Caitlin to join with my lawsuit because, she went through the same thing, that she met with the school. And the school said, if you want to join with Jasmine, that's perfectly fine. But unfortunately, we will have to turn you into the local authorities for your underage drinking. But if you don't join Jasmine, we will not turn you into the authorities for your underage drinking. And she had flunked all of her classes after the situation because she ended up, getting stalked on campus too. And she got called the N-word via this social media site that's anonymous, but, nothing's really ever anonymous, but, so she was afraid to leave her room and she ended up flunking out. And they told her, we will expunge your record. So the next college you go to won't know that you flunked out. And that was what she went with. And exactly. And that's what they would have did with me. And they offered it to me, but I didn't flunk out. So it wasn't going to benefit me anyway. But I say all that to say, when we had a lawyer and everything, the state's attorney of Virginia wrote a letter to my lawyer and said, it's Jasmine's fault that the girls didn't want her to try out because she didn't do the underage drinking. If she just would have drank with the girls, then they would have wanted her to try out. So it's her fault. And it's just like, we on this side.
What grown professional says that?
And that's why I feel like also I need to I want to share my story with people, because that when you have again, like, white girls that did everything, and all of them were still allowed to be on the team. They got to do the thing that they loved, get an education, all that. Then you have a black girl that did the exact same thing as them, and then you hold it against her and tell her, you're going to turn her into authorities. And then you have me and another black girl, and I didn't do any of that. And then you're still saying, well, it's your fault. But on the other hand, I know if I would have, then you would have did me like the other girl, and you would have held it against me. And even still, like, if I were a white girl and I went to an HBCU and the same situation happened, there is no way that I would be held, like, well, you should have drank with them. Like, no, I would have been seen as some kind of saint, some kind of perfect angel. But because the situation, what it was, I'm still the bad guy, even though I was the only one, essentially not breaking the law.
But we see the double standard.
Right.
You're doing right. And I'm gonna encourage you to continue to do right for the rest of your life. Do what you need to do. But what they did, I'm talking about the students. I'm talking about the coaches. And now we got somebody who is in law.
The state's attorney in Virginia.
Come on,
man. When we got to the lawsuit, initially they wanted to give me $250,000 just to walk away and not talk about it. And I told them, don't give me any money. Just let me come back and play ball here. Because if you let me come back and play ball, I'm going to break every record that's here. And it's going to be a black girl that did it. And you can't take that away. You can't change that. They said no. And so if we would have went to court, the only thing they could have gave me was money. And that wasn't what it was about. So we ended up having a settlement. And part of the settlement was they had to recruit minorities more heavily. So like I said, it took the coach 13 years to have 2 black girls. It has been about 6 years since my lawsuit, and now they've had 8. And before I got there, the coach had only ever had black girls be posts for her, like 5s, So at that point, it's very unlikely that you're ever going to have 2 black girls on the court at the same time. They're going to replace each other, and they're not going to be making, decisions on the court. And that kind of plays into that old thought process to where, black men can't be quarterbacks because you can't handle making the decisions because you never had guards. So now they've had black guards. And, ultimately I didn't get what I wanted from the situation, but I think that God gives his strongest soldiers the toughest battles. And I think that this is what my purpose was supposed to be, to talk to other kids about bullying and knowing that they can overcome. They don't have to turn to self-harm or whatever the case may be, that they can rise above whatever this situation is. Like, I never would have saw myself, going to a D2 and doing everything that I did. But because, when you're called, you got to do what you got to do. I was able to. And yeah.
You got a greater calling. You understood the calling. You answered it. You did what you had to do. Your decision was nowhere near selfish. And that's what makes it so good. You took a stand, and you took a stand with integrity. You took a stand with a purpose. You turned down money. You turned down $250,000, correct?
Yeah, and I mean, we did get monetary, but it wasn't the $250,000 for sure. That would have been nice, but again, it wasn't about that. Like, I would have been happy with nothing, because again, like, if I would have been able to go there and do what, like, I had in my heart, that if I get the opportunity to go back, like, that would have been like something beyond amazing to me. And like, have I don't know. I know, when I was there, it was myself and another black girl that went through this situation. But how many times over the other years could this have happened, and people didn't have whatever to be able to stand up or have a voice? And, I'm very lucky to have the parents that I have that were able to, commit to taking me to Bowie twice. They have to come twice a day. So they're at least on the road 6 hours a day just to help me pursue what I love. And again, like, that's what really made the lawsuit strong. So it's like, that was what really motivated me too. Because when my mom would talk to me, she'd be like, Jazz, you don't know how many other people this happened to that just didn't have a voice. And, I don't want to say, she put pressure on me, but she just made me come to that realization that everything happens for a reason. And this was just a setup to be able to be, I don't want to say a role model, but, just for people for youth and not
Your role
even,
model.
just kids. Thanks. But, I was 20 when this happened. So, adults too, that whatever the bullying, whether it's in school, whether, it's on the workspace, whatever, you have to stand up if, not just for yourself, but for future people to come. So that's what kind of
Okay,
motivated me
so
too.
I'm gonna say this: you are a role model, and it's not to be smart or funny because you took a stand. Not a lot of people are willing to take a stand. A lot of people would take the money and be quiet. You see, okay, you're in your mid-20s, correct? You don't have to give me a number.
Yes. I'm 27.
You're
It's
in your,
okay.
okay, well, hey, look, she's 27, 27 years old. So I'm pretty sure you're 6 years younger than me. You can remember when we had people to look up to.
Yeah.
When we went to school, out there in the media. If you look at today's climate, who are these kids looking up to? You don't have to name them,
Right.
but the people that they're looking up to aren't taking stances like you are. Everything is about the money, the instant gratification, the looks, the cars, the houses,
Right.
sex, drugs, everything that's wrong. You took a stance and you stand for something that's right. Integrity, standards, moral, honesty. Come on, it don't get no better.
Thank you.
You are a role model. Continue to be a role model. God put you here for a reason. And see, with your brand, because like when I gave you introduction, you are a brand ambassador. So when you go out here and you put on for these brands, make sure you continue to align yourself with people who do positive things, who stand for something. And I don't have to tell you because you already have a good mind on your, a good head on your shoulders.
Thank
You have a good mindset. You already know what you're doing. And you mentioned earlier about the platform. You have a platform, Clubhouse, Facebook, Instagram, Instagram Live, Facebook Live, StreamYard, like what we're doing right now, Zoom. You can build your own brand from the comfort of your home. And you can show these young ladies, shoot, you can show these young men. If you're ever faced with adversity, this is the route you should take. If your peers are asking you to drink and you don't drink, say no. Stand on that. If they're asking you to do something that you're uncomfortable with, tell your mom. If you have to, take legal action. You're a child. It's okay to not fit in. It's okay to be different. It's okay to be yourself. And you, Jasmine, are yourself. Continue to reach people. Continue to motivate people. I ain't trying to make you cry. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. I just
don't got to preach
appreciate
them
you.
all. But continue to motivate people. Continue to uplift. Continue to inspire. Continue to be a role model. I'm going to get to this. And y'all see I've been doing it the whole show.
Yeah.
I'm putting comments on the screen. If y'all have any
Thank you,
questions
Coach
for
you.
Jasmine.
That's my coach from the junior college I was at.
Hey, listen. Said I coached her and was amazed when she would jump. Oh, so you got the hots for real?
That picture you used, he was at that game coaching.
What is it? That picture.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Listen, if y'all have any questions to Miss Jasmine, you can put them in the comments now. If not, you know what? Y'all get your questions ready. I'm going to come back to that. Jasmine, what you may not know is that I like to play games with my guests.
Oh gosh. Okay.
So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put you up against the clock. Let me
Okay.
make that big. Boom. And the game I have for you is called Rapid Fire.
Okay.
So what happens is when I throw a word at you or a phrase,
Mm-hmm.
you let me know the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
The clock will start when you answer my first question.
Okay.
Let's go on and get right to it. Let me put the ticker on the bottom. Jasmine Orsted. My first question or my first word or phrase, because we're about to start. Ball.
Basketball.
God.
Amazing. Everything.
Life.
Grateful.
Health.
Grateful.
Integrity.
Everything.
Honesty.
Everything.
Purity.
Important.
28.
I was thinking 21. No, 20. What is it? Um,
You know what?
1738. I'm sorry. That's what was popped in my head when you said it. That wasn't
Come
even
on now.
28. Okay. I'm zoned in. I got you.
28.
Okay.
Oh, well, I can
27.
take that out. So hold on. I'm gonna pause. And you know what? I'm gonna give you some more time.
Okay.
I don't know where whatever. I'm gonna put you 26 seconds back on the clock.
Okay. 17, 30, 30.
Thank you. Go on and get it out your system. Go on and get it out
You
your system.
Fetty Wap, like.
I know Fatty Watt with the eye.
Yeah,
I know him.
okay. Okay, that's what it popped in my head. All right, I'm good.
You ready?
Yeah. Okay, I'm good.
Okay. Family.
Everything.
Your mom.
Everything amazing, the best. I was trying to see if she could hear me. My favorite.
Yell it if you need to. Coach you.
Amazing. I'm grateful to have had him in my life. He's a great guy. I broke his ankles.
Ooh, what you learned in school?
Perseverance.
I'm gonna pause the clock because I want to get this out. I'm not gonna let zero hit for this. What did you learn from this whole ordeal?
Just that you have to be willing to let God use you, because I am a shy person. I've kind of had to change that, to do shows and podcasts and everything. But before this, I do not talk unless it was on the basketball court. So to be put in a situation like this where it was like, like you have to talk to tell people that everything that happened and to express yourself, I had to change. I had to be willing to be used, and I want to continue to be used so I can do better things. So I would just say what I learned was that what's not in my plan might be in God's plan, and obviously that is the better plan to follow. So just gotta be willing to adapt to change and be used.
Time. You killed it. First game back. Jasmine Orsted, first guest back. My man Dre said fire.
Thank
Rhonda
you.
said we appreciate you.
Appreciate y'all.
Coach you said keep empowering these young ladies and send my love to your mom and pops. Always. Aloha Jazz. You know the motto, first class or no class.
You see how he left off the part about getting his ankles broke, though, right? You see how he
Oh,
skipped over that?
he ain't gonna own
Nah,
up
he
to
didn't
that.
want to talk about that.
Here go the thing. It's comments up under his, and ain't now
Mm-hmm.
one of them him. So he ain't want to talk about that. He said, do you know the lyrics to the basketball song?
Bow Wow, that one.
Bow
Bow
Wow. D,
Bow
we talking about the
Wow.
Bow Wow?
Just don't know. Move so fast across the floor.
I hated that song.
What?
I'm a young man. I'm not listening to Bow Wow at 13 years old.
Come on. But he had like
Listen,
the shoulder work and everything.
for y'all, not for me.
We playing bad. That one, that song, that one
That's
is
the
better.
song. That might be the song.
Fabulous or somebody was in that song and he said, "I shake the checks off your Nike." What? That's what I did. Oh, Curtis Blow. I don't know that one. I know the one that they had in Space Jam, the first one though. Basketball Jones. I don't know. I gotta look up Curtis Blow.
Look, we finna get out of here. We're gonna get out of here. I thank you for coming through. I thank you for gracing the platform. I love your story. I love what you're doing out there. Y'all, before we leave, I'm gonna run this by y'all again. She is a brand ambassador. You see how she does it? She makes your stuff look good. You got some stuff you want her to wear? You got some stuff you want her to sport? No pun intended. Get at my girl Jasmine Orsted. She's on Facebook. She's on Instagram. Her Instagram is in the link to this on the YouTube and Facebook details. Go ahead and take that off. Let me move this. I'm about to close this thing down. Let me get this thing going. It done been so long. I don't even know where my stuff at. All right. We're going to solo this out. Y'all see it at the bottom of your screen. I'm going to do it like I do it every time out. It's your boy, Mike Ryder, Mr. Accountability, the man behind the microphone. You're tuned in to another edition of Mike Ryder Talks. I appreciate y'all for being patient, showing love to the platform. You see the ticker at your bottom of the screen. Until we meet again, be blessed. I love y'all. I'm out.